Thank you all for joining me on this rainy morning. We're going to have a fun time together. We're going to spend the next hour and a half together talking about what Edgar Cayce had to say about vibrations and how they're interconnected with soul growth. In fact, many of the individuals who are involved with our study group material around the world and the information he gave on soul growth don't understand that the whole heart of the Search for God material is really about raising your personal vibration. We're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to do some experiential things too as well in this room and as well as at home. We have people watching us via live stream, so they'll be able to do this as well. And hopefully along the way we're going to have some fun. I've been working with this information for over 40 years. I've been on staff for 35. I started when I was young and thin, and I've been CEO for the last 11. And I am continually amazed at the wealth of insights in the Cayce information. In fact, I often tell people that if I had to pick the two things that had meant the most to me in terms of my own spiritual growth, it was number one, coming in contact with the Edgar Cayce material, and number two, joining a study group. And so we're going to talk about the study group material as we walk through this information on vibrations. To start, let me say that probably all of us can understand how vibrations could be like a ripple. A wave ripple. If someone dropped a stone or a pebble into a lake and you see one wave after another, you get a sense of what a vibration might look like. In addition, especially for those of us who grew up in the 60s and heard the Beach Boys song Good Vibrations, we know how people can put off vibrations, good vibrations, and also challenging vibrations. I used to work at a country club, a large country club that had a very large dining facility. It had 4 dining rooms, including a men's grill, a women's lounge, all kinds of dining. And it also had activities outside, like golf, tennis, swimming, all kinds of things that were outside activities. And we had a manager over food and beverage, and we had a manager over the outside activities. And the manager over food and beverage was a military guy, a retired Marine, who would come into the dining room, and I was a waiter there, and you could be really upbeat, happy, have great tables. Your tables would be laughing, they'd be having a glass of wine, and as soon as the manager walked in, it was like ice filled the auditorium, because he'd stand at attention, and you were afraid of doing anything wrong or talking too friendly with your table, and everything just kind of closed in. Whereas the other manager, who was over activities, sometimes he'd go to the accounting department and say things looked a little too serious and he needed someone to take an emergency run to the Dairy Queen and get everyone a treat. And even though they had the very similar job, their personalities and the energy they put off and how they treated staff people was very different. And that's vibration. And we can even imagine how people we've never met might have a vibration and what it might be like having lunch with those people. For example, having lunch with someone like Mother Teresa would be very different than having lunch with a comedian or a politician running for office. That somehow people's activities create a vibration. And being around those people, we can pick up on something just by being in their presence. And in addition to people, Cayce suggests that places have vibrations. I remember more than 40 years ago walking into the meditation floor in this building on the 3rd floor and just being blown away by the energy in that room. The room was empty, but there was something special in that room. And Cayce once told an individual that if they wanted to experience vibration of places, he recommended that they go to a church or a synagogue when it was empty, and then do the very same thing in a post office, to go to a post office when it was empty. And we get a sense that places have an energetic vibration based on what goes on in those places. But it's not just places, physical places. The reading suggests that every city, every state, every town has a vibration based on the collective consciousness of the people who live there. That somehow people's thoughts, their activities, their deeds create a vibration. So in addition to people and places, senses also have a vibration. A lot of people don't know it, but all of our senses operate through vibration. For example, the images we think we see are essentially electrical impulses that are translated by the mind and eyes into the perception of sight. So the five senses are about vibration. And in recent years, the topic of vibration has become really mainstream. We have books like The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, and Hidden Messages in Water by Masaru Emoto. And Toei's book is really about how we can raise our vibration and spirituality through consciousness growth. And Masaru Emoto talks about how even thought has an emotion, a vibration. We've had him here before at ARE. As many of you know, we do conferences year-round. And he talked about how he had a group of school children sing to a happy birthday to a glass of water, and then froze that water and looked at water crystals and saw beautiful designs. And then he had the same school children look at another glass of water and say things like, I hate you, or you're evil, or even no. And then freeze those water crystals and look at them. And they were very much deformed and they looked the same. So somehow our thoughts and the things we say have a vibration. And Hugh Lynn Casey, who was Edgar Casey's eldest son, and for years helped to shepherd this organization, he used to say that ultimately we heal or we harm every person we come in contact with, even passing them in the hallway, by our vibration, by the energy we put off, that vibration has an impact upon people. In fact, our vibrations permeate everything around us, and the things around us pick up our vibration. As many of you know, Edgar Casey would give readings, and the way he was able to give readings, he would be given the name and address of someone, especially for a physical reading, and he could tune into that person anywhere and describe what was wrong with them and outline a regimen of treatment. Well, on a number of occasions, people either forgot their appointment or they were delayed somehow getting where they were supposed to be for the appointment. But it didn't matter. Edgar Casey was able to give a reading very often based on the vibrations that person had left behind, kind of like a vibrational residue. Here's just a few examples. Gertrude Casey, you will go over this body carefully, examine it thoroughly, and tell me the conditions you find at the present time. You will diagnose the case thoroughly, giving the cause of the existing conditions, also the treatment for the cure and relief of this body. Edgar Casey, yes, we find those impressions of the body. Don't find the body here. This is as we gain from those impressions of the individual as has been here from time to time. So he picked up on the individual by the vibrations that had left behind. Another one, physical suggestion given, telling him to locate the person. Yes, we have those impressions. The body has just stepped out. And another one, yes, we have the desires as expressed of the body, though we do not find the body physically here. So we have vibrations that come out from us through our thoughts, our activities, the things that we do in the course of every day. As many of you probably know, there are more than 14,000